Good morning, guys. It's 7:30 in the morning, and we are headed to the flea market. I didn't tell you guys, the flea market is open. They opened it today for the first time all year. We are finally headed. Well, we are finally headed to the flea market. I can't believe it. It feels like it's been a whole year. I think it's been a whole year, but we're headed there now. We're going to the flea market. What are we going to find? We're looking for horror VHS. We're looking for all of our delicious 80s goodies at the flea market. We're going right now. I'm about to get in the car. Breakfast isn't open. I can't get breakfast. Maybe some Taco Bell, but we're headed to the flea market, and you're coming with me. Let's go.
All right, guys, so we are on the road. Oh, I am so excited. This thing just came out of nowhere. We had there was barely any advanced warning. It just said, you know what? A few days ago, got the announcement that they're open, and man, jumped out of bed this morning, already dressed, ready to hit the first flea market. God, you know, you guys know, obviously, we've all been in the same boat. You know, that we're coming up on the summer that wasn't. You know, the 2020 that never was. So when something like a flea market opens up for the first time, the flea market here, this particular flea market opens up in May. So, and I'm usually there for opening day in May, but not this year, obviously. So. You know, it's been a month, and really it's been 3 months of us just not doing the stuff that we used to do, the stuff that we took for granted. So a flea market on a regular day is exciting for me. A flea market after 3 months of everything shut down, quarantine, is Christmas morning. So hopefully we'll find some good stuff. Not going to give you a lot of updates from the flea market. I still don't like walking around with a camera. I'll try to get some footage off my iPhone, but again, I cannot figure out how to get videos from the iPhone to my computer. They will not transfer. Yeah, I know, you know, hook up the USB, plug it in, update your whatever the program is there on for Windows, I forget, iTunes. And it should be, no, it's not. I can't get photos, I can't get video. It just says nothing found, nothing. It's so frustrating, so annoying, you know, that at the time a $1,000 phone cannot, you know, I don't know if it's an Apple thing or not, but it's so annoying. So I'll try to get some footage on my phone. If I am able to upload it, then great. If not, you'll just see me, I'll just show you my pickups, and that's it. So I'll talk to you soon. I'm so excited. All right, guys, we're like 8 minutes away, and my friend who is already there is texting me pictures of VHS tapes, and I can already see Pet Sematary and The Exorcist in his picture. So, man, we're gonna grab some VHS tapes today. I can just feel it. I'm sure nobody's really, you know, hitting those too hard this morning. So, hopefully they'll still be there in a few minutes. We'll be adding those to the vintage horror show. It's gonna be great. Already the juices are flowing. I'm going like 83 miles an hour in a 65. Don't worry. Well, actually, that's still a ticket, I think. But this is awesome. I'm telling you, this is like coming down the stairs Christmas morning, man. The blood is pumping. The adrenaline is flowing. The anxiety is anxietying, and here we go. Oh, yeah. Packed. Ooh, you know what? That's my new vehicle right there, guys. Check that out. I know that's an old truck, but I think they do modern trucks in that paint scheme now, which I really love. I love that 80s two-tone truck paint look. So that's my new vehicle. Just not right now, but eventually it's my new vehicle. Just so you know, just in case you wanted to know. Anyway, we're here. We are here. Parking lot is jammed. I don't see a lot of masks, so that's good. Brought mine just in case. All right, we got to find a parking spot. All right, guys, we are back in the vehicle, and it was a good time. Got some stuff, and the stuff that I got is going to lead us right into an impromptu episode of the Vintage Horror Show VHS right now. What a surprise, an unexpected Vintage Horror Night VHS episode suddenly morphed, if you will, from the first flea market of 2020. That's right. Why? Because there was nothing at the flea market other than horror VHS. That's right. It was an entire flea market filled with horror VHS. Right? No, of course, that's not true. But as I walked up and down the aisles, I didn't see much. They had stuff, but the problem is this room is just filled with so much stuff that, I've got to like really zone in on specific interests. And when I zone in on specific interests, I don't really think about anything else or care about anything else. Back in the day, the early stages of this collection, I'd be excited whenever I saw an old board game out somewhere or an old box of colored forms or a TV tray. Today the other day at the flea market they had a Cabbage Patch Doll TV tray for $10. 5 years ago, I would have been all over that, but now I'm not collecting TV trays. I don't have any more room for them. I've got 5 or 6 of them. I'm good. I don't need any more TV trays. So you see things like that, and you look at them, and it's nice to see them. Lunch pails. There's always a few lunch pails at a flea market, but obviously no G.I. Joe stuff. But I was very excited when I came across a table of VHS tapes all lined up, and a very horror heavy. And so the first flea market of 2020 brings us to our next episode of the Vintage Horror Show. That's right, VHS, ladies and gentlemen, as I begin a horror VHS collection from scratch. That's right, from scratch. So let's take a look at what I picked up from the Avon Flea Market in beautiful Avon, New York. First day the flea market was open. It's a weekly flea market. The guy who sold me all these says he's got a bunch more. I might go back next Sunday and grab some more from him. But you're not going to see a lot of weird titles. Like I explained to you, my version of the Vintage Horror Show or my version of a horror VHS collection is going to be a lot of mainstream stuff. Just stuff that I know that I'll enjoy watching. I like horror. I love horror, but it's hard for me to sit through some stuff that's really bad, or I won't go anywhere near really indie shot on video type stuff. I have no interest in that whatsoever. But I think that there's enough stuff out there for me to collect. And if you guys know any obscure, flip side, lower, not lower level. I have a really hard time watching movies that are not really, come with a high budget production wise. I can't get into stuff that, looks like somebody made in their backyard. So
if you have any ideas of some movies that you think I'd like, let me know. I know there's this movie called Ants. Like the ants, little ants that crawl on the ground. Ants is from like late 70s. I think Suzanne Summers is in it. I love that movie. I love that movie, Ants. It's just about a construction dig that unearths a lot of ants, and they just take over and they kill people, and it's pretty cool. I love that. I love the movie Strays, about cats, because I hate cats so much that Strays is such a good movie. So things like that I'll be into. Obviously, I'd like to complete runs of series, the Halloween series, the Nightmare on Elm Street series, even Hellraiser, even stuff like Ghoulies. I would still want to watch that for this nostalgia. But anyway, let's get into what I got. These were all $2 a piece. Some were more. See, this is already $19.99. I was pretty sure that this was the Hamilton. I was pretty sure this was the original, but it's $19.99, distributed by $19.99, package design $19.99. All right. So anyway, we'll take a look at this. Children of the Corn. Stephen King's Children of the Corn. I'm not sure if this is the original. I'm not sure. It's got Linda Hamilton and Peter Horton in it. I don't know. Anchor Bay put this out on VHS in 1999. But I don't know if there was a remake of Children of the Corn, or if this is the original Children of the Corn. But we'll look at it. This was $2. Like I said, it's got Linda Hamilton, Peter Horton. Where's my phone? Right. Hang on one second. Let's take a look. I don't think this is the original. Children of the Corn was 1984. And it starred Linda Hamilton and Peter Horton. Okay, so I'm a big horror fan. This is the original. Packaged in 92, repackaged in 99, or put out on VHS in 92, repackaged in 99. But here we have the original, Peter Horton and Linda Hamilton, Children of the Corn. I probably won't be too interested in any of the sequels, because I think that, with the exception of maybe part 2 or 3, I think that the later ones are just, made for TV junk or straight to video junk. So these were $2. Like I said, all these were $2. With the exception of maybe one $5 one that I'll show you. We have The Exorcist. This was another $2 movie. And that, to me, look, I know that VHS tapes, I know that everything catches fire again. I know that it's cool. I know that it's hip. And I know that like horror titles are going for big money, and I was trying to buy some Friday the 13th tapes off a group on Facebook, and they wanted like 12 each, and that's just stupid. I'm not going to do that. $2 for a VHS tape. I mean, look, 10 years ago, you couldn't pay somebody to take these off your hands. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you would literally throw these in the garbage and put them on your curb. And now, because of Facebook and groups and all that stuff, they're so cool again, and so people have to charge big money for them, and that's just stupid. I'm not going to do that. So here is The Exorcist for $2. Now, if I was down to like my last Friday the 13th and I needed it and I couldn't find it, and somebody wanted $10, then okay, fine. But at a flea market, this is cool. This was another $2 one, which I was not expecting to be $2. It's from Vestron Video. Love Vestron Video. I'd like to get a nice T-shirt from Vestron. Nothing says, stay up, sleep over at your friend's house, rent a movie like Vestron Video. That the title screen of Vestron Video. This is Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. There we go. Evil Dead 2. So I will obviously want to complete the Evil Dead line, the Evil Dead series. He had Jaws 2 and Jaws 3, but figured I would just start with Jaws 2.
No original Jaws. I did have, before I gave all my stuff away, I did have a Jaws 3-pack, a VHS Jaws 3-pack, which was pretty cool. So we got Jaws 2 with some interesting cover art. Okay. Boom. We did get one of my Nightmare on Elm Street films. This is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I do like this one. It's not my favorite, but I like New Nightmare. Okay, so we'll actually slide him in here. Slide him in order on the shelf. So Wes Craven's New Nightmare, part of the collection. Another $2 movie. That's great. Makes me very happy. The original Halloween. The original Halloween from Anchor Bay. This is not my world's favorite series. It's not my world's favorite horror character. I know Christian Hafer will disagree with me, but I can get into and enjoy the first two Halloweens. I absolutely love the third Halloween. Halloween 4 and beyond, can't sit through them. I just can't. I've actually never seen a Rob Zombie remake. I'd like to see it. I know everybody craps on it, but I don't know. Maybe it'll be a different take on Halloween. Maybe I'll enjoy it more. 1 and 2 are good. 3 is tremendous, but it's a standalone movie. The rest I can't stand. If you're gonna put a movie with LL Cool J in it, if you're gonna put a movie with that one of those like Beyonce's sister, if you're gonna put a movie with who the hell was it? Buster Rhymes. I just can't. You know, I'm not. I can't take it seriously. I was thrilled to find Freddy vs. Jason. Freddy versus Jason. Oh, man. You know, when you were a kid and you were watching Freddy and Jason separately, all you did with your friends was talk about how these two worlds would collide. And then they did collide much later than I think they were originally supposed to. But I actually hate this movie. I love it because I'll always love everything Jason Voorhees. But there's some, some not plot holes, but like the movie bothers me so much in how the kids, these knucklehead kids, all figured out very quickly what had happened and how Jason was awoken or Freddy was led to. I forget how, Freddy was led to Jason by his mother or vice versa, or, they all just sat around a van and went, oh, that's how this is happening. So dumb. But the concept, love it. I mean, how could you, that scene where they're both ready to, and they both fight each other. Oh, it's so good. Love Freddy vs. Jason. So glad to have that. Put that right next to Jason Takes Manhattan. That's next on the list. A classic. A beautiful classic. Beautiful, beautiful classic. I believe it's like 83, 84, but Jamie Lee Curtis in Prom Night. 6 years ago, when young Robin Hammond crashed through a broken window, her playmates vowed to keep the accident a secret. They promised that no one would ever know, but somebody already does. Leslie Nielsen in it. Love Leslie Nielsen as a serious actor. What is it, Creepshow? Leslie Nielsen in Creepshow is so good. So good. How long can you hold your breath? I can hold my breath a long time. Leslie Nielsen, obviously, Naked Gun, but love him as a creepy straight actor in horror films. Prom Night is mine. The collection is expanding. I like it. This is just sort of just a really, well, this is all sealed up. This is just like one of those 80s horror movies that I always saw advertised in the cable guide as a kid. And it was always on HBO or Cinemax or Showtime at night. It was always on a pay channel, like 11 o'clock at night. And I never saw it. And I think it's just sort of one of those, it's one of those 80s horror names that either you've seen it and you love it, or you've never seen it. But The Howling. I picked up The Howling for $2. Nice previewed at $4.99. I wonder if that's Blockbuster. Yeah, it is Blockbuster. It's still got some Blockbuster labeling on it, which is very cool. April 21st, 2004. This was being sold at Blockbuster for $4.99. So, The Howling. Alone in a remote cabin, one dark night, a beautiful young woman hears an unearthly shriek pierce the air. The eerie sound continues until she's unable to bear it any longer. She takes a flashlight and goes out to investigate. Well, that's a bad move. The Howling from 1981. I got it. Well, I got it because I was going to get it anyway. But again, it's just one of those movies that I remember always reading about or always hearing about or always seeing that was coming up next on HBO, The Howling. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm out of here. Never saw it, but it's such an 80s classic. I don't know how good it is. I just know that it was just always in the cable guide. This one I paid $5 for because it's Freddy and Jason. And if I need the movie, let's see if I can peel this off without ruining it. If I need the movie, I'm going to get it. But Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, I do not love this movie at all. This is about where, things have been cheesy, but Freddy was cheesy after part 2, I think. But Freddy's Dead I don't like, with Roseanne and Tom Arnold, and they just keep driving around in a circle, and I don't like the psychologist doctor lady who ends up, being Freddy's daughter. But anyway, you gotta have the collection. I want the collection. In fact, I want them twice because I want to do the same spine project that I was going to do with the Friday the 13th movies. All right, so this one goes in between Dream Child and New Nightmare. Whoops. All right, we've got. I actually watched this for the first time about a year ago on Blu-ray, and I liked it. I'd sit through it again. I'd watch it again. Very vintage, very retro 80s style scenery, and I like that. Looking, a big part of watching these movies for me is enjoying the scenery. Enjoying the just the 80s cars and the 80s houses and, the wall-to-wall carpeting and, the 80s parents and, the malls and stuff like that. That's one of the bigger reasons why I like 80s horror is I get to, that's another reason why I love Fast Times at Ridgemont High so much now, because it's just, you just jump into an 80s swimming pool, and just enjoy all the scenery. But Christine, Stephen King's Christine, definitely a good movie. It's fun to watch. I like it. It's a silly concept, I guess, but aren't all horror movies silly concepts? All right, so that's almost all the room on shelf number 1. A friend of mine gave this to me. I met him at the flea market, and he's like, hey, I grabbed you something. I don't know if you like it. Be honest with you, I actually really like this movie. I don't know if I'll watch it on VHS. But the Blair Witch Project, he just gave me for free. I know people dump on this movie too. Look, this was one of the first. I think this was the first found footage movie that I ever saw, and this movie had like a lot of build up before the movie came out. And then of course a lot of complaints and it was so stupid. No, it wasn't scary. I got nauseous because the camera was shaking the whole time. And now we can, now found footage things are all the rage. But as I've told you before, I just want to be entertained by a movie, whether it's a horror movie or any other movie. I want to be entertained. And if we're going to do horror, I want to feel uneasy. I want to be a little uneasy. The Blair Witch Project was great. It was spooky. There's the jump scares. You hear a noise. What the hell's that? And you're looking around in the dark. And look, I mean, I'm not a film critic, right? I'm not a film expert. I sit down with a bowl of popcorn and a beer, and I freaking watch a movie. And if it entertains me, it entertains me. And the Blair Witch Project is just fine. So I've got a free Blair Witch Project. All right, we get to move this. Little placekeeper here thing now, because we got a couple more to show you. This is obviously, I don't know what they call these, cut boxes or, like a VHS rental. This came from the movie house in Maynard, Massachusetts. That's where they would like you to return this to. The movie house in Maynard, Massachusetts. You know how the video stores would, somehow, lose the original box and make their own little box and put the insert in there. And, a lot of like hardcore VHS collectors don't like this. I don't care, because now I have something from the movie house in Maynard, Massachusetts. But for also $2, which I was surprised, is Slumber Party Massacre 2. Look at that. My guess is that the killer is some lame rock and roll guy who kills people with his electric guitar, which has been turned into a drill. All right. Slumber Party Massacre. Crystal Bernard. Mixing elements of Nightmare on Elm Street with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Only the fittest can survive. Slumber Party Massacre 2, 1987. Patrick Lowe. Yeah, and some other no-namers. Probably, dedicated horror fans are probably aware of these guys, but Slumber Party Massacre 2, it's got that, where are we? It's got the horror section sticker on it from whatever mom and pop video store. So that's a little bonus. I like that. I don't care about the case. That's fine. Just a piece of history right there. So we add them to the shelf. The last video that I got is not horror, but it was very awesome, and it was $2. And I don't know if it's part of the... So the AWA Remco figures would release figures packaged with a VHS tape. And so I got to go back and I got to see if this is one of those, because it's either one of those or it's just a release from AWA All-Star Wrestling. But I found this at a flea market, which is extremely unexpected. The AWA All-Star Wrestling Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin and Mr. Electricity Steve Regal. That's awesome. The reason why I think that this was released with the figures is that they released videos with the 3-packs. They released videos with the 3-pack Road Warriors, the 3-pack Freebirds, and the 3-pack Jimmy Garvin, Steve Regal, and Precious. So I think we might be looking at a fun little wrestling Remco figure video set release extravaganza from All-Star Wrestling Home Videos. The official AWA Collector Series. Remco is nowhere near mentioned on here. Kids Classics is. So I don't know. I got to go back and see if this was packaged with the figures or not. It's got a few matches on here. A lot of cut matches. Some interviews. Good stuff, though. Love it. It's got a little wrestling section. It's the second AWA video I have. This one is the Freebird, Michael Hayes, and Rick Martel on the cover, but also has Remco on here. So I think we might have just figured it out. This has Remco, nowhere has Remco on, stamped on here. So I'm guessing that this Remco stamp is needed if we're going to say that these are from the figure packs. So maybe not, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, so that is the update. Now, I would have had a longer update for you. There's actually a package coming in the mail. I won an eBay auction of like 12 VHS tapes for $20, and so there's a couple more coming. And we're probably just gonna fill up the shelf a little bit, and really we're just grabbing these so that we can do, we can have a vintage horror night together, and that is coming. I'm actually trying to do that this week. I bought my food for the first night, so basically we're gonna hang out. You're gonna watch me cook a meal or put together a meal. We're gonna hang out while I eat. We're gonna drink a little, and then we're gonna come down here, watch the movie, and afterwards we'll talk about it. That's vintage horror night. I figured we would have some fun doing that. All right, so that's it. That's the update. Those are the movies that I got. Flea Market Day 1 was a success, and
about it. We'll see you again soon. A good night now.